Hey everybody, it's Connie. Wednesday afternoon, and oh, it's so pretty outside. Getting through all of that dreary rain and storms and everything. Whew, so happy to see some sunshine today. I have a big day planned because I have some show and tell. I have lots and lots of stamp of the month ideas to show you, and three cards that I wanted to make to show you. So we better get started because, oh my goodness. Anyway, I've been popping on. You know, I showed you this one last week, and then I popped on this photo in the news feed, and you might be able to see the shimmer and shine on this where I have used the shimmer pen. But I've had a couple of people ask me what I use to color the monarchs, and so real quick I just wanted to bring this in. This is the stamp set that I used with the realistic looking butterfly, just like I did last week. And then I used the burnt orange blend. Now the reason I put a little D on there, it's the deep shades, and that helps me remember whether it's in the essential blends or the deep shades. So that helps me. There's a light, a dark, and a medium color on it. And basically all I did was I colored the entire thing in the lightest color. I'm just going to do a little bit of it, and then I used the middle color to kind of swoop out like that, and then the darkest color right here, so you can kind of see my coloring a little bit. You can do it either way. You can do it all light first, or you can do the light last and blend it. You get just a little bit of a blendier look if you use the dark color first. So I find when I do it that way, I have to go back with the dark color to get that, if I want that definition. So it's up to you, but I just wanted you to see it looks real. It looks really something. And then when you add that shimmer brush to it, it really pops. It really comes alive. And if you saw this card in person, you would be like, wow, because the camera just doesn't, it just doesn't show shimmer and bling very well. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that to start with, because that is something that a lot of people have been asking me about. I'm gonna set that aside. Okay, several of you, my VIPs, have been starting to receive little pouches like this in the mail. I hope they're arriving in a safe way and not postage due or anything crazy, because basically this all fit into a regular envelope, meaning regular postage, and then I just tried to make it as flat as possible and make sure it would go through my 1/4 inch slot, and they did. So I just put one stamp on them. And now I'm like, oh, I hope you're getting these. I was a little nervous because there are some dimensional pieces in there. We are going to make a project next Wednesday using these, and I hope that you'll make that as well, or use the parts and pieces and not just throw them in a drawer. I'm excited because I want that part. Sorry, I got something on my table there. Okay. Another project I have made that I wanted to show you. I have been playing around with the stamp of the month a lot. This one is called Message in a Bottle, and it has all different kinds of bottles. It has paper scrolls. It has some stars, some hanging pieces. It has really teeny tiny messages that I think are a little hard to read. I like the thank you, and every adventure has a story. I really do love the messages. They're very small. There's a couple of bigger ones like hope. Little one, it's just a script, I think, makes them a little harder to read, but I want to show you some projects. People are getting super creative with this, and so I have a lot of things to show you. But first, it's been a while since I've done a Disney thing, so I decided to create a border, a Disney border, and I'm using that blingy hanging stars, and I went ahead and black embossed it, so that's why it's shiny. I used black embossing powder, and I just stamped several of them along a 12-inch border. There's that cute little hanging heart, there's that cute little hanging square, and then I colored in. The Mickey heads are a paper punch, which many of you who do Disney pages probably recognize. So the other stamps that you see on here are from this set right here. This is called Everyday Featured Attractions. And you know, I had my eye on this when it first came out. I think it was in the last catalog, but it's still available online. And I thought, oh my gosh, the first thing that drew me was some of these kind of 60s looking vibe images. And then I thought, wow, this would be really cool for some Disney pages because it has all the little icons that you often see in Disney images and Disney papers and things like that. So I wanted to show you, they have that, you know, that funky star. I don't even know what to call that star, but this little star, I just kind of random stamped those in 4 colors, in the black, red, yellow, and blue. But you can see there's different arrows and words and celebrate. This is magic, treasure these, whatever, simply whatever, like simply magic or whatever you want to, simply amazing, everyday moments. Lots and lots of options when you start mixing and matching words. And then there's those cute little stars. There's some more little stars, lots of little things that you can use, like they call them scatter elements on the stamp set. So those are really fun to play with. And that, I thought making that Disney border was really fun. And then I thought, well, gosh, you know, not everybody's into Disney. Maybe I should try something else. And I started this one. So this one is a 12 by 12, and I used gold embossing, so you can see it's very shiny. And I haven't colored it in or anything, but I thought, just imagine like prom, a wedding, a dance, high school photos, like graduations, whatever. There's so many options here. And there is a card. After I did this, I started looking at artwork made by other consultants, and there is a card I cannot wait to show you using the same sort of idea, only on a card front. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I'm not using any of the bottles at all. That's just the hanging elements on those 2 borders. So many ideas with that. My brain is going wild. I'm going to move that out of the way. Okay, so before we get started on the bottles, I kind of wanted to, Tanya had messaged me and asked me if I had been making any Easter cards. I think she's probably already made her Easter cards, but I thought, you know, I really don't do a lot of Easter. But I do a few, and then JJ sent me all kinds of fun Easter images and things to use to make cards, and so I had no excuse whatsoever not to make a few Easter cards. And so I like this, since it's so current and so many of you have it, these little bunnies are adorable for Easter, right? So good place to start. I made a slimline card using that. Remember how I had that square slimline left over last week? I went ahead and just popped it onto some of the mulberry and used As You Grow paper and colored the little bunnies, and I thought that one was really cute. Just a cute little Happy Easter card. And then I have a tendency to do really bright colors on my cards. So what I did was I took a normal card base and you just fold the front back, score it in half and fold the card back. And then you have a 2-inch piece, a 2-inch piece, and then of course your 4 by 5 1/4. So I went ahead and attached the mix-in papers to that, but this is kind of what you get, and you can put any papers on there that you like. And then, yeah, I was going to do another one, and I thought, well, why do you need to watch me attach my papers? But these are cake. This is Cake Day, the colored dots. Cake Day, and then the mix-ins, and then it'll just fold over like that. So I was just going to make, you know, multiples of that, but we'll just do one. Okay, let me move that out of the way. So what I like about this is it's basically a gatefold, and you can put your put a piece of paper on, and you only attach it to this front. But so if you lay it down like this, you'll be centering it, right? So let me just put adhesive on this half. And then you fold this down, and then I just eyeball the center like that. And then it's only attached to the front, just like that. Then the other thing I'm going to do is put a Happy Easter sentiment on the inside, and I want it to be hidden. I don't want it to be showing like that. So it's important when you add your sentiment that you check it with your card closed. So, hi Lisa. So I'm going to just I'm going to move it inwards just a little bit so that it doesn't show on the outside of my card. And then using the little bunnies, aren't they cute? So the other thing that Tanya had asked me was, like, can you color a couple of these? Because I'm not sure what to use to color them. Now, you know, I like to use watercolor on these because it's really fast, or you can use markers. Now, you can use a brown gray or gold or ice gray. This is like a gold brown, and then I like the pink for the ears. So I'm going to color. I don't necessarily color in the entire bunny. I like to outline just a little bit. So you might have noticed on that other card that I didn't actually color the whole bunny. I just do a little bit of shading, and it looks like it's colored because it's kind of like it fools your eye into thinking that it's all done. Okay, and I'll do the little bunny too. So this is the brown gray, and I'm just outlining it. And then, you know, stamps have, a lot of stamps have like a natural shaded area. Like here on the back of his head, you know, yes, I make sure that's shaded. Down here, I make sure I put a little color. So that's that. And then I like to use the pink, maybe like that. So there is the bunny colored in, and you could do more. Now see, on this one I used tan, and here's one with the brown gray. And then I wanted to show you the gold brown. This gold blend is very similar to tan in the lightest shade, but once you flip to a darker color, it looks different. So I like the gold also. So I just wanted to show you, that's how I color these. I don't use color on the whole thing. No reason why you couldn't. I mean, like if you want an all brown bunny, why not color him in and make him all the same color, right? I'm not like the world's best colorer, but I can tell you that these markers make me feel like an artist. So like that, and then I just use the darker to do that shaded area, you know, where the stamp kind of shows you their shading, and maybe where you think there might be a shadow, or where something is rounded. Sometimes you can do a little shading and it'll make it look more dimensional. So, ta-da! Okay, so there's him all colored in. Anyway, I wanted to show you that because that she specifically was like, how did you do that? And then I'm gonna go ahead and color in. Yeah, that's not dark enough. I'm gonna color this in darker. And I don't think I have my green out, so I'll have to do green later. But basically, I'm just gonna put this on here, and there is my, maybe a couple of dots, like the Cake Day dots. Because, you know, they just, I don't know, the dots really add something to it. So I love the dots. What other color should I use? Maybe the pink. Okay, something like that. And then when you open it, Happy Easter. So there's my first card, Happy Easter. And very, very basic. I mean, we're talking about a card base folded in half, couple pieces of paper. This is a good one for scraps, right? Ta-da! Okay, now the next card is another one good for scraps. So I'm going to take a card base. I'm just going to fold it in half and set that aside for a minute. So, you know, when I make a fold card, I like to make a template. And basically what I've done is I've cut a piece of white cardstock 3.5 by 10 inches long, and you cut it on a diagonal. Now, as long as it's 10 inches long, it does not matter what the diagonal looks like. So I have this 3 by 10 piece of paper. It does not, you don't have to measure down, you know, and go, okay, I'm gonna go 1 inch over here and 1 inch over here. You could just go corner to corner. I like a little bit of lip right there. And then I'm just gonna put this into my chopper real quick. It's not going to match my template exactly, but it'll be close enough, okay? So I just started at this corner and chopped it to that corner. Now, I need to score it to make some folds. And so I'm bringing in my scoreboard, moving things out of my way here. I feel like I have everything I own within like a 3-foot space. It's ridiculous. Okay, there's that. Now I'm going to, if you look at my template, I'm going to score it at 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9. 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9. So here's 2, here's 3, here's 5, here's 6, here's 8, and here's 9. Okay, set all of that aside. We're done with the score. What I like about this is that basically you can kind of see how it goes. You want these fun folds to kind of go back and forth like pleats. And if you do it wrong, you can just do it the other direction. That's basically it. It's pleats back and forth. Now I had one card where I couldn't remember which way it was folded, and so I folded it the opposite direction, and it's not that it looked bad, but my pleats were just bigger, and I didn't have the background paper showing as well. So if you fold it this way, you get a little hint right here of the back side of your paper. Do you see? So I prefer to fold it this direction so that I can see just a hint of the back side. Now it doesn't look very outstanding on the paper I chose because the paper I chose has like a white and yellow background. But if you had paper that was more dynamic difference, it would really show. Like if you had one with a black background or a dark background, that would really pop. Okay, so I am going to start by putting some paper on the top of my card like this, and then I'm gonna turn this over and keep it kind of pleated. And I'm going to put the pleated on top of here. And I just want it to fall kind of where it's, there's an even border all the way around. And it doesn't have to be, you know, obviously it's not perfect. And then the other thing I like to do is put something to hide that line. So you could tuck all these in and put just a little bit of glue down just to hold that. I like how this is a little dimensional still, but the top is glued down. Right? And then I'm just going to put this on here on my scissors. Let me put some adhesive on. Just like that. Okay. So there's a card base that is really fun as a basis, and you can do whatever you want from there. You could, you know, put your bunnies on. You could use the stamp of the month and put a little bottle with a flower. You could just put flowers on. So this is just an idea for a quick card. You could put like a little message right down here. So there you go. That is card number 2. I know I'm not finishing these off, you know, but I just wanted to show you some ideas for things that you can do with that mix-in pack that you got. If you're not really sure, there's all kinds of really cool card bases out there, and you could even use up scraps and make a whole bunch of these kind of bases and then later add an image. I mean, you know, in a pinch, you have a birthday, boom, birthday cake or balloons. You can make your little Easter egg or Easter basket. Whatever stamps you have, stickers, whatever, you can finish that off later on and just have a whole bunch of these ready to roll. Okay, woohoo! Moving on. So the next card I'm making, all right, uses scraps, and there's a couple of ways to do it. One way is to use like a gatefold card, so standard card, but folding this in like that, okay? And because these are each 2 1/4 inches wide, I just use like a 2-inch or 1 3/4 inch piece of cardstock. So I just want to show you, I'm going to put this on. Just like this. And now this one. One thing about this paper is make sure you use, if you're doing this, that you put the adhesive on the right side, because you'll have one side dark and one side light if you use the wrong side. Just make sure they're both the same. And then I'm going to put this here. It just nests right inside of it. You know, nesting papers, I just go either a 1/4 or 1/8 inch smaller on each layer, so that, you know, it will nest inside of each other. Now this piece over here, I want to make something kind of fun. This is a little different, and I like to use, I kind of like to use liquid glue, but I'm going to do it with a tape runner. So what I did was I had a little strip of this paper left. I had a little strip of the black, and I had a little strip of the stripe or the blue, and I decided to use the stripe. And basically all I'm going to do is use these colors like this, and I'm just going to, I hope I'm in camera. It's so hard to see if I'm in camera. 1 2 3 4, I got 4 more. Okay, I'm gonna put this here. I'm trying to eyeball them to be approximately the same distance apart. I keep hearing banging outside. I'm like, what is happening out there? So I'm making stripes with the black. I'm close. This one could be a little different. I guess I can peel that off, and I want it to be as even as possible, because now I'm going to go back with the green, and I'm going to crisscross it the other direction. So I want to make sure that it goes from the corner to the corner like that. And I'm just going to keep using these little scraps, corner to the corner. Corner to the corner. Just like this. Okay, and then the last piece I'll probably just have a little bit right here. It won't be the whole thing. Now, that's the front. Flip it over to the back and use your scissors and just trim all those pieces off. So this used a couple of scrap pieces that I had that were less than 2 inches long. I just had, you know, normally I would just throw some of those scraps away. I wouldn't even keep them. That's how little paper this used. I'm just getting those out of the way. Yeah. Okay, so this is the piece that we made, and it looks kind of like lattice, and look at that. Isn't that cool? Now, some consultants cut this flap off, just cut it off, and then had this piece in here so that it only opened here and here was your message. But I liked the gatefold idea, so I am going to now adhere that. That's kind of thick with extra paper, so I'm going to use a little extra adhesive. Okay. Now look how cool that turns out. I just love it. Just love it. And then you can use your stamp of the month or whatever you have, and you can put an image on here or a message, and only adhere it to one flap, okay? So again, you're only going to adhere it to this front flap, and then when it folds over, it's going to look like this. So this is a great idea for an Easter card. So you could use, you know, again, you could cut out little chicks or bunnies or whatever and have that on there, or a cross. I think she sent me a couple of really cool crosses that would look really amazing on here. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Or you could use the stamp of the month. Just imagine like this little vase with just a little flower in it. Or, you know, gosh, there's so many ideas. You could just do the hanging heart. I have another card I was going to show you in a couple weeks. Let me grab it now, though. I have been, what happened was I knew I was possibly going to not be able to work, you know, use my arm. And so I worked ahead on a lot of the projects, and now since I actually am doing okay, I have all these ideas that I have just been going crazy wanting to show you, and the month is going away, especially if I use like next month for, or next week for the VIP project. That's another week gone. And I just keep wanting to show more and more things. Okay, so what I'm going to do on here is I am going to put a flower in the vase, and I will put that on the photos so that you can see the finished card when it's done. I just think that's so cool, right? Okay, I'm gonna move that off. I know it's not done, I know. it'll be done. It'll be done soon. So I have a couple of cards that I want to show you. First one, standard card base. And I love this in full bloom paper. And you know, I just have just a little bit of it left. I ordered some more because I've used up all of it. I've used up my bulk. I used up all that I bought to make your guys' layouts. And then I purchased more and I used it up. This paper is just so pretty. I hope that you like what you got from me this month. So what I did was I took a piece of mint and I put it through an embossing folder. This is a current embossing folder. And then I just put a square on the back, cut out a circle, put a square on the back, sponged a little ink, and then stamped the little heart with the thank you right in the middle. And you might notice I popped it up on foam tape just a little bit to make that heart dimensional. All right, and then I'm just gonna put that at the top like that. Now, the floral set that I've been showing has got these little bitty, what I call cherry blossoms. And these I colored with yellow, and then I used this aqua blue. This is the same marker that I used for this. But when it mixed with the yellow, it just made it kind of that greenish color. And I just thought, how fun to kind of make this card like this. And then let me see if I have some dimension here. I have all my supplies everywhere. I feel like I've been in a crafting frenzy lately, but okay. So I'm going to put a little adhesive on here and put that there. A little adhesive on here and put that there. And then put a dimensional flower on here. I just think that's really pretty. And then on the inside, I'll put another little flower with a message. Ta-da! I think that's really pretty. And those did not take very long because I had the thin cuts for them. The last card, I know you guys are like, oh my God, Connie, so many cards today. But, you know, since I'm not doing them from scratch, they don't take me very long. So this is just a scrap of some of the paper from the In Full Bloom, again with the cherry blossoms, and these are actually colored in pink like cherry blossoms. And then I cut the card on a diagonal and put a row of the cherry blossoms along that diagonal. So it shows that cool pattern in the background. I random stamped some color on the front. It says thinking of you at the bottom. So this was, I thought, a really cool use of these flowers. They just made a really neat slimline card. And Heather, if you're watching, this one does not look like one that should contain a gift card since it has the cutout. That's funny. So this one is my favorite though. And basically I had some black background from the mix-in paper. I really love it. I put a little white piece in there with a butterfly just so that I would have room to write on a spot inside. Cut the card on a diagonal, and it doesn't matter what diagonal you use. It's not a set in stone thing. I just start at the corner and whichever angle I like, however much paper I like showing. And then these are just 2 flowers that I colored and 3 leaves that I stamped and colored. And you will notice there is shimmer brush on those. Do you see the shimmer? Super shimmery. That's the clear shimmer brush. And it works just amazing, and it looks so pretty. So these flowers don't have to be blue. I know because the paper is this color, you know, it's very tempting to make them blue all the time because you know it looks good because that's what the paper comes as. So I thought, well, this time I'm going to go ahead and make a card. And I had this paper, and this paper is from the mix-in. This and this from the mix-in. This one kind of looks like cement or something to me. And the front looks like wood. And then this one has like script, some French words. And then on the back is that black. So I'm going to use the French word one this time. It doesn't have to be... you can do whatever you want. I mean, it doesn't have to fill the whole page. Like, you don't have to cut it to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I always like a little border. Now I'm gonna cut my angle, and you know, I'm basically just gonna start at the top and cut an angle, right? Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. If you want, you could hold this, you could do like a temporary tack on this and then cut both pieces. But like I said, I like that border. So I'm gonna start by cutting. I'm gonna put this in my trimmer from here to here and just make a cut. Okay. Let me bring that back over. My trimmer's too clunky to put in the camera frame. All right, so here's my card front, and I've cut that angle. So what I like to do, you know, this angle is the same. I just put it on here and kind of line it up like that, okay? And then I cut this piece the same. So I'm putting it in my trimmer. I put it in my trimmer and then cut that angle. Now, look at this. The angle is correct, okay? The angle is cut the right way, and you can put it on the front. So, I'm just gonna trim. I need to trim the bottom. I'm trying to figure out where I want the bottom. Okay, and remember, if it's not perfect on the side, it won't show because you're gonna be putting flowers or something along that border. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? So I'm gonna make it look perfect at the side and the bottom. And I'm not gonna worry about the angle so much. Okay, now I have this. You know what? I need my green. Hold on a minute. Yellow, green, yellow, green. Okay. Oh. I keep grabbing the wrong color. So this time I made these flowers. I would call these a peony, maybe? I'm not sure. But they can be any color you want because, I mean, really, it's your card. So, and this is a generic base. I mean, it's gray, so you can make that any color you want. Red, green, blue, whatever you want. So I think I'm just gonna go with the orange that I have, the burnt orange blend. And I'm gonna start with the light and just kind of go through the whole thing. And it's okay to have a little bit of the white showing. You might notice I'm not being very careful. As a matter of fact, if you gave this to your grandkids to color, they would do a better job, I think, than me. Okay, so I just kind of scribbled, and now I'm going to go back with the medium, and I'm just going to go where the lines are a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and darken the center because it would be the darkest. And then kind of going along each petal on the lines. You're probably like, oh my gosh, she's just scribbling. She's not even really trying to make it look pretty. Why on earth would you do that? But what I found is when it's all said and done, nobody notices how perfect your coloring job is. Now, if you use really ugly colors that don't go together, people notice that. But they don't really. I'm just putting a little bit of the darkest shade, not a lot. People don't really notice if you are doing a monochromatic kind of thing and you don't color perfect. So I feel like this time of day lately, I haven't been catching very many people. I know everybody's either at work or busy, and I really appreciate you guys who go back and watch the replay later. It makes my heart happy to know that there are actually people watching and commenting and telling me if this sucks or you like it. I appreciate that very much. Now look at how cool that looks, and that is all just scribbling. Now if it's too stark, like, you know, like if you're looking right here and you're like, oh my gosh, that's just a line, go back in with your super lightest color and go over it again. You can go through the whole thing again, and those lines will soften up pretty quick, because what you're doing is you're adding extra alcohol to that color and kind of softening it a little bit, lightening it up a little, and so it ends up pretty good. There you go. Now the other thing that I pulled out the yellow green, and this is a deep blend because I put a D on it so I would know this. And this one is basically, it looks really dark when you're coloring with it, and it's got that kind of a mossy color. And then see how this stamp has areas where it should be shaded. Okay, so I just make sure when I take my second color, I'm going over those areas that should be shaded, and then I take my darkest one and basically follow it just like that. And then if you feel like, oh my gosh, again, that is just too much of a line, you go back over it with your light color again, and it'll all blend. And look how cool that looks. Now that's exactly what I did on this card too. See, and I didn't, even go back over it with the light color. I just left it scribbly. But you don't really notice, your eye is not drawn to that detail when there's so many other things to look at on your card. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck in this. I'm going to pop this one up a little bit. I'll color it and pop it up, and I'll add another leaf or two somewhere. I guess I could just sit and color it here for a moment because this is the last thing I have. And while I'm coloring, I will tell you about some of the specials coming up. How's that? Wild Berry Blast, I showed you last week. It's pretty cool. I've already had several people start ordering it, and mine has not arrived yet. It was due to arrive today, and I got a delay notice from FedEx, so my guess is it'll be here this afternoon. FedEx is really weird. They send me delay notices on the day that they want to deliver it. It just throws me. I don't know. And then when I've been ordering for you guys, or ordering hostess rewards or whatever I've been doing, I've been trying to make sure and forward you all of those delivery messages from FedEx, because they don't always send them to the person who it is addressed to. They send them to the person who ordered it, which kind of makes sense. I mean, how would they know necessarily your email address, I guess? So I've been trying to forward those to you. And then, oh, I saw Denise that you're on. Denise, I have your stuff here. I need to drop it off at some point. I haven't made it to Rantoul this week. My uncle from Paris had a stroke last week, well, about a week and a half ago. He's doing great. He's doing absolutely fabulous. But he is on rehab, and since they live in Paris, it's, you know, it's far enough away. It's hard for them to work and get in to see him. And so since I'm here in town and I'm not working, I've been going over to the hospital in the afternoon, or to see what he's up to, eat lunch with him or whatever. And so I haven't been making my normal rounds around town like I usually do, but I will get that to you. I think, Karen, if you're on, if you're watching, I have stuff for you also. I have like little piles all over my house of things that I need to deliver. Okay, so there's that other flower, and that's before doing any other blending. I kind of like it without the extra light blending, but I'm going to go back over so that they look the same. And there we go. And Stephanie, if you're watching later, I know Stephanie lives in an area where they're having the Masters, but they keep showing these horrible storms going through there, and I'm like, are they having the Masters? Because it looks like tornado weather. It just seems like it would all get canceled. I'm so confused. So fill me in on that, will ya? It's so weird to like know that that's happening in the country, and at the same time it's like they keep showing all these houses flattened in your area, and I hope you're doing okay. It's kind of scary. We've been having lots and lots of rain, but not necessarily what I would call storms, which is good, but it's so muddy. Oh my gosh. Our whole yard is just a big mud pit, and Moose just loves to run through it and get into mischief in it. So my house is constantly a state of crazy with cleaning and mopping. And all right, I'm almost done with my last leaf. Hey, Heather. Yes, I'm tired of mud. I'm like, you know, I'm not a big spring fan. I gotta be honest, I'm really just not. But I really, really hate mud. The weather is fine. I just hate mud. Okay, so when you're going to put your things on the angle, here's the card I'm making, Heather. And there's another angled card. If you go back and watch, I've been making some fun cards here. The idea is to have it kind of hang over that edge, but cover that edge too. So don't put adhesive over the entire part. You just want it, you just want adhesive on the part that's going to be on your paper and not on the part that's going to be sticking up, right? And then same way with this, I'm just going to do half of the flower. My fingernails are not, okay, boom, like that. I think I want another leaf in the middle. I kind of liked that look of how I did it before. And then oh, I did the wrong side. I guess I'll make the whole thing on top. Okay, and then a leaf on the bottom. I'm like, oh, whoops, what did I do that for? Okay, and then this one I'm gonna use foam tape. I'm gonna pop it up. Now, when you do the foam tape, make sure, you know, like you can hold it up to where you're gonna put it and then flip it over and make like a pencil line or something so that you don't put tape above that line. I'm just gonna risk it. I'm just gonna do my best here. So, like this. So hey, Heather, since you're on here, did you get your VIP club project in the mail yet? I'm hoping that you say yes. Even if you don't end up using it, I hope you got it. Okay. Ta-da! Just like that. Isn't that neat? So the only other thing I need to do to finish this card off is a message. And I also cut a piece of this coordinating like a zip strip that I thought would look kind of cool across it or something, and then put the message here in the corner. So that's how I'm gonna finish this one off, and then I will put that one in the picture or show it as a photo. So I'm just gonna real quick kind of go through the stuff I showed today. This one with the slant cut. Here's another one with the mix-in pack and the slant cut. This one uses the Info Bloom and the Info Bloom stamps. It's kind of random here, just like that. And then this one uses the Info Bloom stamps and the stamp of the month, which is the fun bottles. And I'm going to polish off a couple of them. I showed this one, and I will finish this one off. Oh, good. I'm glad you got it. It will be an interesting, I'm going to show, next week I'm showing the project that I want to make, I had in mind for those. Now you could use them for cards or whatever. I'm going to finish off this cool pleated card base that I showed. And then I showed this fun kind of gatefold, the bunny, and this one. Okay, really quick, I want to show you. You guys are going to be like, oh my God, too much, too much. I have tons of pictures. I'm going to turn off lights so that there's no glare, or not much glare. Let's see what I can do. Hold on. Okay. I want to show you some cool cards made with the stamp of the month, because I think this is another one of those, like the light bulbs, where you need to see it used. Here's one where they did like 3 panels that make it look like a beach, and made it shimmery, and like a message in a bottle, right? To me, that's the first thing I thought of, was beach and message in the bottle. So to me, that was the obvious choice. This is a card where they used the hydrangea and just stamped it in there and just lightly shaded the bottle. Aren't they pretty? Here is a sympathy card. I'll try to move it closer, where the bottle is cut out separately, and you can kind of see that they used kind of a watercolor effect to make it sort of blue, like glass. Here's one that's just kind of fun. Lots of fun colors, bright colors, markers, and using the Make Every Day Count message. This is just one that I thought, wow, this is so simple. This is just a sheet of the paper that comes in the Info Bloom kit, and boy, there's not much technique or anything, and yet that card is outstanding. Look at this one. Isn't that pretty? I should try to blow it up. Just gorgeous. She used that, she used distress inks, and she cut the bottles out of the papers from the Info Bloom. So you might notice that's that gray colored paper. This is the blue colored paper. You can see that she cut that out. Amazing. Go Sandy. Lisa Worth made a couple of slimlines, very similar, interesting, very similar to the card that I made with the slant. Just a different color, right? I mean, she used wild berry. Okay. This is a sample that I took because if you're not into pink, and they used the coral shades and the true blue to change it to red and blue, and just went over the stickers to make it more of a true red instead of a pink. And so I thought that was interesting. Here's the wild berry. She used the gloss spray on that little circle there, and a mix-in pack. Here's another sample of those butterflies done in an entirely different color. She basically stamped them in blue and then colored them in yellow. I think they look great. Used a shimmer brush to spatter the background. Look at this one. Remember I showed those faith cards that Noelle and I had made using the sun ray, but look at that die cut border. That is really cool. That turned out very nice. Here is another kind of bright colored card. It's hard to see, but that's the mix-in, colors, and she used different flowers for the tops of the bottles. And you may notice, again, you know how I used that bunny, colored in that bunny where I just colored in the outline. That's what she did with the bottles. It doesn't look uncolored. It looks really good. So another very simple card, just a simple thank you. Looked great using the mix-ins. Another mix-in card. Now this one is an interesting thing because she used vellum to stamp the bottles and then put them on colored cardstock, and it softened it up. Where is the You Are My Sunshine? You mean the, hold on. I'm not sure, hold on. That, you know what, I don't know for sure. I'm not sure. I think it's an old stamp. It's definitely retired. I don't recognize it recently. There's another image of that. And notice the background of her card is embossed. So that really does add to it. This one's kind of fun with the purple and green. Purple, not my thing, but I really like how it looks, and it's a very simple stamped card. And she used that mix-in the background. Come on. Okay. There's another, you know, water, sand, message in the bottle. This one's really cool. Melissa used a spongy ink technique, which I have been thinking about showing. I'm waiting for the next paper pack to show this because it's going to look really, really cool with the May-June paper. So I'm going to show that technique. But this is really, it's a really cool card. And I like how she used the hemp with the acrylic heart. Now this is interesting because it's a totally different take on using those bottles like in a game. And look at that page, you guys. It's so cute. It's like a carnival page, and then she used the bottles with a baseball. Oh my gosh. Fun. I have a ton of old pictures of Steve and I at the fair. He loves doing those kind of games. Here's another message in the bottle, you know, sky, sand kind of thing. Turns out great. Okay, this is that one I was talking about. You know, when I was showing, I also, you know, I showed that initial, I had been playing around with those stars, and I made this cool Disney banner or border, and then I did this one using gold embossing. I know I have all my lights off so you can't see anything, but look at what she did. She did the gold embossing, filled it in with stickles, used the graduation caps in the color of the high school, and then just sponged like distress ink and spattered it with a little bit of water. If you really look, there's like water droplets all over it. That is an amazing looking card. And just imagine that on a page, if I did a scrapbook page. So cool. Embossed background, simple image. One thing I noticed is I don't buy very many flowers, so I don't have a ton of close to my heart flowers. I have a lot of flowers, but not a ton. And then here's just several using different images and butterflies from that Full Bloom stamp set. That's a clever use of that film strip again. Thought that was really neat. Love this. Brenda Lapp did this one, and it's just simple colored pencils. Here's another one where I thought this one was clever. Okay, so here's one where it's just die cuts, right, with the bottle, and then the message in the bottle with the sand and the, you know, this is all sponging and masking. And then I like this one. Look at that. She did a tree with the heart hanging from the tree. Very cute. Not sure what I would use that for yet. If you're not into the bold and bright, look at this one. This is the paper from, I want to say yesteryear or something. It was like the Heritage Pack. I want to say January, February or something like that. And with the browns and tans, it looks really nice. And I love it with the liquid pearls on it. It just turned out really nice. Okay, I think that's my last one. Okay, woo! Okay, that is what I have, you guys. And I hope that you have a great afternoon. And I hope you got your Easter cards made, Tanya. I made a couple. I made this one and one other. This one and this one, which I think turned out pretty cute. So I hope if you haven't done anything yet, hopefully I've given you some inspiration. Next week is the VIP project, and I hope you can join me to watch. You may want to watch that one before you actually do it, and not try to do it along with me, because there are some things you will be having to add from your own stash. All right, have a great afternoon. Bye, everybody.